just so you can see what I'm dealing with. I'm laying on my back with my head where the clutch pedal would be, looking straight up, and I'm trying to get all these wires out of the way, and there's 4 nuts screwed onto studs that are in the back of the dash. It's just crazy trying to get these things out. I remember putting them in. Like I said, I did it with the cab off and nothing in here. It was a pain in the neck then. Holy cow. So I'm struggling, but I'll get this out eventually. It can be done. It's just going to take some time. So there's the gauge cluster. The only thing it's hanging by now is the capillary tube for the the engine temperature sensor. So that tube plugs into the block. It doesn't disconnect on this end. So I got to disconnect it at the block, and of course the block's full of coolant. So if I just disconnect it, I'm going to get a flood. So I got to drain the radiator down before I could pull that off, believe it or not. So that's the next step. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to open this up right here in the cab, leave that capillary in, not disconnect it from the engine block, and try to feed it through just to bring it up on the bench. I built up a little bench with some wood, and I got a piece of cloth so I don't scratch the glass. And all I got to do is open up. There's like 5 crimps on the perimeter here that I put in. I rebuilt this earlier with new glass and new chrome from a kit. So I'll just open this up right here and then swap out the gauge and put it back in. So this video takes place in the course of a week. So when I learned last week that the ammeter wasn't working, I ordered a new one from eBay, then proceeded to take the gauge cluster or the gauge set out of the truck, and now I'm splitting it open. Now, once I get it open, which is going to take a few minutes, I still ordered the piece from eBay, and I had another one that I had tested that was in another video that worked fine, and someone told me I should just put that in, and you'll see at the end, when all is said and done, they're probably right. But once I get this open, then I proceed in trying to get the other one back in once it showed up from eBay. In the meantime, the guys came in and put my windshield in. So there it is. This is the old gauge. This broke, obviously, and that's why it's spinning. But you know, did it work before? I don't know. Is this refurbished? Yeah, see that? That's just like a decal that comes with the refurbished kit. As you peel it off, what do you got underneath? That's the original underneath. So I have another decal. I could use that one that I was testing this morning, but like I said, I ordered some new old stock from eBay. I think I'm going to go with that just because I'm patient and I can wait. And I'll leave it at that. Well, new ammeter just arrived. I could debox it with one hand, which I can't. So what I'm going to do now is try to put it in, get this truck started so the windshield guy can work on it outside tomorrow. So now that I've got the gauge cluster assembled, what I've done now, I'm laying on my back trying to screw it back in and get all the wires connected. And the hardest thing to connect was the oil capillary for the oil pressure, which you'll see in the next cut. But I spent probably on my back looking straight up a good 45 minutes, and 20 of that was on the oil pressure sensor, trying to get that capillary rethreaded, which you'll see in a second. This is me laying on my back, my hands up behind the dash. Now without the camera, I've been fighting with this. This is the tube for the oil pressure sensor, and I can't get it to start threading to save my life here. It's starting to really frustrate me. So I might just take a break, but I've been under here for a good 20 minutes now, trying to get that to thread in. I hope I didn't ruin the threads or anything. I just can't seem to get it started. And I'd show you what I'm up against. So I'm laying on my back. My butt is where the seat would be. My back of my neck's all crunched up. It's crazy. So the gauge is all installed. The guys just hooked up the, or put the windshield in. I checked the wires on the gauge. I turn the key on. Gotta move my foot here to get the thing to start. And the gauge doesn't move. So, looks like the gauge that I bought from eBay doesn't work. So what happens next is really crazy. I spend the next hour removing everything I just did, taking it out, putting in the other gauge, putting it back in. And then I went to go start the truck, and I could not get it to start. So I was hoping to show you a video of me driving out of the garage again with the windshield. But what I think it is now, after I pulled the carburetor off and rebuilt it, and put a new accelerator pump in because I had a spare, it still didn't run. I'm thinking maybe the fuel pump, because I forgot to hook up the fuel line, and I was cranking it, and it wasn't squirting any fuel out. So maybe that's what I'm going to check next, but I'm about done for today. The other thing I want to show you, I don't know if you can see that, there's a gap right up there on the windshield. So I'm going to put this, if I want to get it running, I'm bringing it out in the sun, let it sit there. That's what the windshield guy said to do, is let it sit in the sun for a while, and everything should fall into place. And then I hope it does. Thanks for watching.